Am I the a-hole stories, wedding edition? Am I the a-hole for taking the attention away from the bride at the wedding and making it about me? I, 28 female, is currently 6 months pregnant, and am engaged to a wonderful man. Due to the craziness, only a limited people know about our news, because we aren't the announcing type. Also, it was a quick engagement because of the pregnancy, but we love each other, and we didn't want to showcase all that. I also have an 11-year-old with my ex who I was married to for 9 years, but he ended up cheating on me with Anna, his friend/co-worker. He had his wedding with Anna this weekend. I was invited because of a complicated custody arrangement that I don't want to get into, and because his mom wanted the mother of her grandchild at the wedding too, since I'm technically still family proxy my son. The thing is, no one from that side knew I'm pregnant. I didn't tell my ex because of personal reasons. Also, my fiancé is also quite an influential man where I'm from and is well known. My ex knows I'm dating someone since I was allowed A+1 for the wedding, but he doesn't know who. This plays into the wedding. I didn't really think of it much as they kept it a small event. I really didn't want to go, but did for the sake of my son since I can't let him go alone. We all showed up and naturally, people gravitated toward my fiancé, asking him what he was doing here, and then learning about the pregnancy and engagement. They were fascinated. It was all quite annoying, and I played the pregnant lady card quite a few times so I could get some peace, at an event that I didn't even want to be at. They got married and it was over. We went home, no fuss. The next day, my ex calls me, never does this LOL, and starts ranting to me about how I ruined the wedding for his wife and him. First, I bring in a man that's clearly trying to one-up him, and my ex argued that my son likes my fiancé better, as my son didn't leave our side for a second during the wedding, and my ex was angered that we played happy family in front of him, when he was the one getting married. Second, my fiancé is not only my date, but also the guy I'm marrying and I'm engaged to, and everyone got to know about it on their day, taking away all the excitement from the wedding. That point, I said that I was sorry for and agreed that it probably did distract from the wedding. However, I didn't know what I should have done. It's not like I could make everything disappear for the night. I'm not comfortable with announcements on social media and wouldn't have done it for my ex. My ex brought my son into this, and asked him to tell me to apologize to his wife for making their whole wedding about me. My son disagrees, and says that I did nothing wrong, but he's 11. So Reddit, was I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Did you shout "I'm pregnant" from a megaphone? Did he tell you to not bring your fiancé? Did you call the people around you? No, no and no? Then not the a-hole. Absolutely not the a-hole, and congratulations OP. Both on the baby and dodging the ex. Sounds like he did you a massive favor. Not the a-hole, if you did not purposely try to upstage them, if you were honest in what you wrote. I'm guessing your ex and his new wife allowed you to attend the wedding because they wanted to rub their happiness in your face, but the tables turned when you showed up with an even better guy and a bun in the oven. Your ex was just upset he lost. And since he was the one who cheated, I'd say he got his comeuppance. But you might be the a-hole if you purposely did that to show him up, and now your son is caught in a petty revenge. Was no one else available to bring your son there? Could you have brought someone else other than your fiancé as your +1? Edit. Some commenters are misunderstanding my comment regarding OP's +1 and I want to explain. I come from a different culture, and I have no qualms attending a wedding alone. If I were extended A+1, I would also have no qualms bringing a relative or a friend if my partner is not available. I am not sure if +1s mean engaged/wedded partners only, in the West. I am not saying OP has no right to bring her fiancé to the wedding. I understand why she brought him. But OP has stressed that she wanted to avoid unnecessary attention, and bringing a famous fiancé would definitely draw the attention that she doesn't want, which is not her fault. Hence, I wonder if there was someone else she could have brought who could similarly offer moral support, like her mom for example. Yes, it definitely isn't a fair situation that OP has to pay consideration to who she brings as her +1, to avoid hurting her ex's fragile ego. OP should be able to bring whoever she likes. But if I were OP, I would compromise to avoid any potential drama for my own sake. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for arguing with my fiancé and refusing to let her niece be the flower girl instead of my sister? Mine, male 23, and my fiancé's, female 22, wedding is this month. Wedding planning has been literally a nightmare. Her mom keeps stomping boundaries and changes any plans we come up with to have a decent wedding and not let me ruin it and embarrass her. Her mom thinks I'm a kid, she calls me son, and it's so annoying and inappropriate. My fiancé is the youngest in the family and I'm the youngest son-in-law in the family, that's why I got this nickname. Anyways, my fiancé and I already discussed and decided to have my 9-year-old sister be the flower girl. She has mild cerebral palsy, but she's functioning and does good at school. She said people make comments about her and she's very sensitive, so she'd get upset because of these inconsiderate people's comments. My sister's is on cloud 9, ever since she was told she will be the flower girl. She got her dress, and so far, she's tried it on more than 5 times asking me when I'm going to have the wedding, which is sweet. Thing is, my fiancé came to tell me last week that we will be making changes in terms of menu/invitation cards, because her mom recommended other things, instead of what we agreed on. According to her mom, I have no idea what a good decent wedding looked like, and wanted to save us, herself, from embarrassment. I let it go. And didn't say anything, because my fiancé told me these are small issues and that I needed to go with the flow. Okay, no problem, but to suggest that we picked the wrong girl to be the flower girl, was the straw that broke the camel's back. She actually said, she wasn't sure how my sister will behave at the wedding and that we shouldn't take chances and just pick her niece instead. I told her no, not going to happen. Like, I gave my parents and my sister my word. No way I'm going to make her upset and sad, and let the niece take her place. My fiancé threw a fit, and said I was overreacting. That my sister still gets to wear her dress, but sit with the crowd instead of walking down the aisle. We've been arguing over this the whole week and I'm now supposed to call her and say okay, but I refused, and I'm standing my ground and wanting my sister to be the flower girl despite what others say, because this offends me and my family. Edit: people say that we can have more than one flower girl, but my mother-in-law doesn't think my sister should even be included as one. She wants her sitting like a guest the whole time, thinking she might misbehave, where in fact my sister isn't like that at all. She's well behaved and smart, even better than other kids. My fiancé seems to agree since she wants me to say yes. Now for the top comments. OP, my dude. Listen to how your fiancé is speaking about your sister. Think about how you're going to be stuck with that mill for your entire marriage, and think of how either your wife is bending over backwards to please her, or agrees with all this ridiculousness. You think this is just about a wedding? You really think that all this capitulation isn't setting a standard for how you and your opinions will be treated in the future? You need to sit your fiancé down, alone, and have a long conversation about her behavior, and that in no way at all is it acceptable for her mother to be acting like this, for your fiancé to let her walk all over you both, and most importantly, that your fiancé is not ever going to speak about your sister like that again. Your sister is 9 years old. She is a young, impressionable child who has more than enough crap to deal with as it is, more than any child deserves to. Are you going to bring your fiancé into the family, around your sister, with her thinking she can treat your sister like some wild animal? Look, I'm never one to support the idea that a man needs to check his woman. The phrase is disgusting. As a big brother though, and as a person, you need to give your fiancé a swift and definitive reality check. This is not her mother's wedding, it's your wedding too, and she does not demean your sister like that. Ever. Not the a-hole, but you will be if you just bend over to all of this heinous effery, just because it's easier than arguing with her. 3 years down the line, when Mill is running your lives and your wife is blaming you for it all, you'll be wishing you had fought back. Your relationship isn't lost, but you need to get back on the same page before you go any further. Not the a-hole. You already told your sister. It'd be horrible to take that from her. Also, you, to your Mill about having a good decent wedding? Yeah. I can't even imagine. My sister being sad on my wedding day instead of happy. It's heartbreaking, because my sister and I are incredibly close and I can't stand to see her cry. But according to fiancé, I'm causing issues and refusing to go with the flow. Use both girls? If your fiancé and mother-in-law are really against using your sister simply due to her cerebral palsy, I would highly recommend not marrying her. She didn't say that. She wanted her to sit there all the time like a guest and it's not okay. I say that yes, this is the reason they freaked out about letting her be the flower girl, and it makes things worse because clearly they're using my sister's disability against her. Especially my mother-in-law. The next story is titled, "Am I the a-hole for not wanting to go to my mother's wedding and saying that I didn't give a damn who she married?" Backstory: my 16 mother has always preferred girls over boys, maybe because she can relate to them better or just natural preference. I was her second boy out of 5 kids. My older brother moved away and nobody has any real contact with him. She was very neglectful towards me and never went to my soccer games or showed any interest towards me. My parents divorced when I was 10 because my father drinks a lot, and all of the kids got to choose whom they lived with. My older sisters chose my mom, and I chose my dad. It became sort of a parent-trapped situation because my mother and sisters then moved to the States, while my father and I remained in England. None of us ever get to see each other because of the distance, and also because of the virus. Anyways, moving on to now. My mother is getting married to this guy from work and hopes to be married by 2021, sometime in February. She and my dad were on the phone the other day, and she was apparently talking about how she wanted me to be right by her side during the ceremony, and then asked to talk to me about it. My dad called me into the room, but I refused to talk to her. The thing is, I don't want to go to my mother's wedding. I don't care about her, and don't give a damn about the guy she's shacking up with. My father is telling me that I'm being cruel for not giving my mother that happiness, and is willing to drag me over to the States himself, if I don't agree to go. Every time we talk, he's saying stuff like, "Your mother loves you," and, "You were a brat for not going." My mother, on the other hand, has been calling and sobbing about how she tried her best to raise me, but she couldn't force herself to do anything, which I assume means that she couldn't force herself to care for me. I plan on showing my father this thread when it's all said and done. So honest opinions. Am I being the a-hole for not going to my mother's wedding? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. She tried her best to raise me but she couldn't force herself to do anything, which I assume means that she couldn't force herself to care for me. Wow. That's a horrible thing for someone to say to their own child to begin with, but saying it and then immediately demanding the child force themselves to care about her? The selfishness is galling. It sounds to me like she just wants the happy family wedding pictures. You are being emotionally strung along by your mom, and if her past behavior is any indication, she will drop you again after you serve that purpose. I think you are wise to protect yourself, and shame on your dad for not having your back and protecting you as well. She's told her fiancé what a great gal she is, and she needs her son there to prove it. Not the a-hole. She didn't try her best to raise you. She neglected you, and when she realized she can get rid of you, she ran away from her own child. If your dad forces you to go, you should embarrass the hell out of everyone and raise hell in that wedding. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not giving my sister the ring that our late grandmother gave to me? My grandmother passed away 3.5 years ago of cancer. She was the rock of the family, and her loss hit everybody hard. My older sister, at the time, was estranged and wasn't in contact with the family. A few weeks before my grandmother passed away, she gave me her wedding ring, and made me promise to hold on to it, until I got married and wore it myself. Eventually, my sister came back around, and was obviously devastated to hear about her grandmother's death. She didn't seem too bothered with me having the ring at first, but recently, she's gotten engaged to her fiancé and wants the ring. My sister, apparently, told her fiancé that she was going to get the ring, and so, he didn't bother with anything but a cheap, simple gold band. She approached me the other day and said that she wants the ring, but I was obviously not going to give it up. My sister essentially told me that she deserves the ring, since she was a better granddaughter and that she's getting married first, so she is entitled to it, just by that fact. I am dead set on keeping it because, obviously, it's my grandmother's ring, and I want it for when I get married. Just to be clear, I have a boyfriend, but we're going slow. Am I being an a-hole for not giving up the ring? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your grandmother gave the ring to you without conditions. She didn't say to hold it and that the first of you to get engaged, gets it. She didn't say that if your sister comes around, that the two of you should flip a coin for ownership. Your grandmother gave the ring to you, and did not specify any conditions. Ignore your sister's tantrums. I would out the ring in a safety deposit box so she can't physically get to it. Do you have your grandmother's wishes in writing? It's written in the will. Not the a-hole. Your sister sounds like an entitled little brat. Your grandmother wanted you to have it, that's why she gave it to you instead of your sister. If she was the better granddaughter, then she would have had a relationship with your grandmother, rather than finding out she died well after the fact. This right here. If grandmother wanted sister to have it simply because sister was the eldest, then she could have stipulated that fact. Obviously, being the eldest wasn't the deciding factor. And that's it for this video guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day everyone.